beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Tene Brahma Ridya Adi Kavaye Bhuyanti Yat Suraya. In the beginning of the creation, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna enlightened Lord Brahma from within his heart. And now he becomes also a Tattvagya and Tattvagyo. Tattvagyo, a knower, and Tattvado, a giver of transcendental knowledge. Then the Brahmaji, he imparts that knowledge to Narad, Narad to Vyas, Srila Vyas to Shukadeva, and in this way. And therefore, it is an inescapable, inevitable conclusion that no living entity can become enlightened without approaching Sri Guru Parampara. So, this verse encapsulates Srimad Bhagavatam and our Gaudiya Siddhanta's very foundation of the necessity for Sri Guru and the reason why transcendental knowledge can only be received in parampara. Evam parampara praptam imam rajasho vidu sakalinaha mahata yogo nashta paramatapa. If the disciplic succession is broken, then the knowledge is lost. So this is our basic Gaudiya epistemology. So in the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there it is said, Yasya Sakshat Bhagavati Jnana Deepa Prate Guru Matya Saddhi Sutam Tasya Sarvam Kunja Rasochavat. Yasya Sakshat Bhagavati, that spiritual master, Jnana Deepa Prate Guru, the Guru who gives this Jnana, Tattva Jnana, the light of transcendental knowledge, one should consider he is Sakshat Hari, direct manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Yasya Sakshat Bhagavati, directly a manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Guru, our vision towards Guru should be not either or, but both. Yadyapi amar Guru Chaitanya Radas, Tatapi Janiya Ami Tahara Prakash. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, although I know that my Gurudev is Chaitanya Das, the servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that means a Vaishnava, Tatapi Janiya Ami Tahara Prakash. At the same time, I know that he's a Prakash, a direct manifestation of the Lord himself. So both, the Mayavadis get mixed up. That our Guru is directly God. And then others whose faith is very weak, Guru is not Sakshat Hari. He's like an ordinary human being, he just knows more slokas than me. So both of these ideas are wrong. What is a Gaudiya Siddhanta? One should maintain both visions at the same time, superimposed. Gurudev is a Vaishnava, and also Guru Krishna Rupa Haya Shastra Pramane. Guru Krishna Rupa Haya Shastra Pramane, Guru Rupa Krishna Kripa Karen Bhaktakane. See, Guru is one form of Krishna in which Krishna gives mercy to the living entities. So both visions, Gurudev is a Param Vaishnava, and also this is one form of Krishna, Krishna Rupa, both at the same time. So, Yasya Sakshat Bhagavati Jnana Deepa Pradhe Guru Matya Saddhi, if a person, a disciple, will maintain the consciousness, Martya, Gurudev is a mortal being, who is subject to the cycle of birth and death, whose body is made of 5 gross material elements, and mind is made of the subtle material elements. Asadhi, if one maintains the conception that Gurudev is one temporary entity under the control of material energy, then even though that disciple studies the Vedas, Srutam Tasya, his study of the Vedas, Sarvam Kunja Rasochavat, it is exactly like the bathing of an elephant. Futile, useless. Because the elephant bathes in the river to get clean, and as soon as they come out, then they throw the dust all over themselves and they become covered in dust once again. So the bathing was futile. So in the same way, if the disciple maintains a mature conception towards Guru, then he cannot make any progress whatsoever. This is the essence of the Nama Parad Guru Avagya. Even one should not think, my Gurudev is a great sage. He is one powerful sage, Rishi. Even one should not think, my Gurudev is a manifestation of Bhagavan, but a partial. Ete Changsa Kala Pumsa, Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam. Krishna has many portions and portions of portions. But one should think, my Gurudev is direct manifestation of Swayam Bhagavan, Sri Krishna himself of Vrindavan, who has come in this form to deliver me. If this mentality is not there, then it is Guru Avagya. Offense to the holy name, and all your chanting will not produce results for a long time. So it's very important to hear the statements of Shastra and see Guru through the eyes of Shastra. Then you will see how the mercy of Nam comes very quickly, because that offense has been removed. The power of devotion to Guru has been glorified throughout Shastra in the most beautiful way. In the Padma Purana, in the Upanishads it is said, Yasya Devi Parabhakti Yatha Deve Tatha Guru Tasyaiti Katita Hyata Prakashanti Mahatmana. Just as one is devoted to the Lord, he should be devoted to his Guru in the same way. And for such a great soul, then the meaning, the direct experience of the knowledge within the Vedas will prakashan. It will manifest and illuminate that devotee's heart spontaneously, simply by having equal devotion to the Lord and to Guru. However, in the Padma Purana, there it is said, Bhaktir yatha haro meisti tadvaristam guru yadi mamastitena saktena sandarshaitu me hari. One devotee prays to the Lord, Oh my Lord, if I am more devoted to my Gurudev than I am devoted to you, then on the strength of this truth may you appear before me. And then Supreme Lord appeared there and then. So it's more effective and more powerful to be more dedicated and more devoted to Guru even than to Sri Krishna. And that is more pleasing also to Sri Krishna. So Krishna himself, he has established the importance of devotion to Sri Guru and the glories of Sri Guru in his own life. So please, now, come with me. Don't be in Alachua. Park your body and mind here. And by your soul, we're going to Mathura. There in Mathura, Sri Krishna has been brought there by Akrura. And Kamsa Maharaj made a big plan, plan A, plan B, plan C, to destroy Krishna. Because he realized, I sent so many demons to Vrindavan, but they never came back. So it seems that that place, Vrindavan, has some kind of special potency. So if I can take him out of Vrindavan and bring him here, then my war elephant, Kuvalayapida, can kill him. Plan A. If that doesn't work, then plan B. Some soldiers, our soldiers will attack him. If that doesn't work, Chanura and Mustik, Chal and Toshal, all the most powerful wrestlers of the world, they will kill him. And more soldiers will help. I may also help. But somehow or other, we have to bring him here, isolate him, surround him, and kill him. And then I'll offer him as the bhog to my deity Lord Shiva. Because the wrestling arena was in front of, the Rangashala was in front of Rangeshwara Mahadev. So because Kamsa Maharaj was worshipping Lord Shiva, he thought he would kill Krishna and offer him to Lord Shiva. The day of the wrestling match was Shiva Chaturdasi. That was his, how he would celebrate Shiva Chaturdasi. So Kamsa Maharaj made this plan. However, it didn't work out according to his design, as you know. And Sri Krishna and Balaram, they defeated Chanura and Mustika in the huge stadium with thousands of people watching. And then Krishna jumped up onto the dais where the throne of Kamsa Maharaj was. Kamsa Maharaj took up his sword and shield, but Krishna slapped him and he dropped them. Then Krishna grabbed Kamsa Maharaj by the hair. Why? Because in Bhagavad Gita Krishna said, Ye yatamam prapatyante tangstataiva bhajam. I reciprocate with everyone. So before Krishna's birth, when Kamsa Maharaj was driving the chariot of his sister Devaki on his wedding day, then at that time there was an Akashvani, a voice in the sky. Asyas tvam astamo garbho hanto yam bahase buddha. You fool Kamsa! Don't you know you are driving the chariot of that woman whose 8th child will kill you? So then Kamsa Maharaj, immediately, he went into defense mode and thought, oh, 8th child will kill me? Not if I kill her first. And at once he grabbed Devaki by the hair and drew his sword, and he was about to kill her when Vasudeva Maharaj pacified him with sweet words and rational arguments. Oh, Kamsa Maharaj, if you kill your sister on her wedding day, then your Pratishta will go down. He thought, yeah, Pratishta, I've got to protect my Pratishta. So in a very clever way, he appealed to Kamsa Maharaj's demonic qualities to avert the potential murder of Devaki at that moment. So, because Kamsa Maharaj grabbed Devaki by the hair, so that's why Krishna grabbed Kamsa Maharaj by the hair. Oh, you grabbed my mother by the hair? Let's see how you like it. Yayatamam prapatyante. Krishna reciprocates with him. So then he threw Kamsa Maharaj from the high dais, splat, onto the floor of the wrestling arena. Actually, when Krishna did that, Kamsa died then. People think that Krishna then jumped on him and punched him so many times. That's what killed him. But actually he was already dead. Krishna was just like venting steam. So he just wanted to punch him a few thousand times just to get it out of his system. Kamsa was already dead. So then everyone was astonished because they all thought that this coward boy was the son of Nanda and Yashoda who had come from Braja, but now everyone, all the prominent people and kings of the world saw that Krishna had killed Kamsa Maharaj. And because the demigods had said, Asistvam Astamo Gabo, the 8th child of Devaki will kill Kamsa, because they saw with their own eyes Krishna kill Kamsa, then there was no doubt in anyone's mind, he's the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. Praman. He's the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And they told him. And Krishna was, what? He couldn't believe it. And now you have to stay with us, you're one of us, you're not one, forget the dairy farm. You're not a milk boy. Forget that. You're from the royal family. You are the aristocracy of the famous Yadu dynasty. You're a Kshatriya. Krishna was confused. It was an identity crisis for him.
Teenage life.
So they... and Balaram really is the son of Vasudeva and Rohini. So then he had to stay there. And Krishna, he thought that if I go back and leave Balaram here, Balaram will die. And if I go back to Vrindavan now with Balaram, then Vasudeva, who in his whole life never saw his son because Rohini was pregnant and then she went to Gokul and gave birth there. So Vasudeva is seeing his own son for the first time in his life for a few days and then he loses him. After so many of his other children had been cruelly killed by Kamsa Maharaj. So that will be too painful for Vasudeva. So Krishna decided that Krishna and Balaram will stay in Mathura for some time, satisfy the Yadus, and they promised Nanda Maharaj, after satisfying the Yadus, will come back to Vrindavan. And so Nanda Maharaj left Mathura and returned to Vrindavan with a very heavy heart. So now Krishna is in Mathura. Vasudeva and Devaki were thinking, we have to give him the samskar that he's a Kshatriya, that he's one of us. So in life, you know, there are 10 sanskars that you have to go through, from before you're born until Garbhadan sanskar, until after you die. Also, the Antim sanskar. Such as, and one of them is the initiation, that is Upanayan sanskar, receiving the sacred thread and receiving the Brahma Gayatri. So of the 4 castes, the upper 3 castes, they are Dvija. The upper 3 castes all receive the sacred thread and the Brahma Gayatri. They're twice born. However, the way in which that initiation takes place is different. It's a different vidhi for each caste. So Brahmin boys, they receive their thread and Brahma Gayatri at the age of 8. And the Kshatriyas receive the thread at the age of 11. And Vaishyas, Gops, like Krishna's caste, they receive the thread at the age of 12. So when Sri Krishna came to Mathura, he was 10 years and 9 months. Right? So he was almost 11, so that means it's right on time for the Kshatriya Upanayan Sanskar. But he has no Upanayan Sanskar from inbred, because the Gops initiation will take place in the following year.
That's what Madhumanga has his, he's a Brahmin.
Because he's a Brahmin, so he can have that when he's 18. So at that time, the student, he becomes a brahmachari student and receives Brahma Gayatri, which was revealed by Vishwamitra Muni in the Rig Veda. So now Krishna's been in Mathura for some time, and Vasudeva Maharaj, he said, I'm the father, I have to now arrange his Upanayan Sanskar. But the mother and father should be present. So he and Devaki are there, but Balaram's mother is not there. Balaram's mother is still in the Nandagaon, in Braja. So then Vasudeva Maharaj, he wrote a letter to Nanda Maharaj requesting. In that letter it said, my dear Nanda Maharaj, when you came to Mathura, at that time I didn't think of it. But now the time has come for the Upanayan Sanskar of my sons. And therefore their mother should be present. Please send Rohini to Mathura. So when Nanda Maharaj read this news to Nanda and Yashoda, then Rohini was in a dilemma. Because now Krishna and Balaram have gone to Mathura. Mother Yashoda is burning in the fire of separation. And Rohini is there, she's also lost her son. But she's there and she's comforting and trying to give some consolation to Yashoda, because she's her best friend. So she's thinking, now if I go, how can I leave her? What will happen to Mother Yashoda? And she said, O Sati, only if the Creator could make a duplicate of each one of the limbs of my body, and in one form I could stay, and then in another form I could go there, then this problem could be solved. So she couldn't make a decision. But Mother Yashoda, who is very soft-hearted, she said, oh Saki, actually the Creator has already made 2 bodies with 1 pran. Our pran is 1, but 1 body is your body and 1 body is my body. But we have the same pran. So, if you go to Mathura and you meet with my Krishna and Balaram, then it will be just as if I have gone to meet with them. And then if you'll go there, I'll feel relief from separation, because myself in the form of you will be meeting with them. She said, this is the proof. I never distinguish between my son and your son. I consider Krishna and Balaram both are my sons. So this shows we are one pran with two bodies. So when Mother Yashoda encouraged her in this way, then they consulted with some astrologers to find an auspicious time to go to Mathura. I don't know how they did that. What's the auspicious time to leave Vrindavan and go to Mathura? I don't know. But anyway, somehow or other they calculated it. And so Rohini was put on a bullock cart with some, Mother Yashoda cooked so many preparations with ghee and yogurt and different milk products and also some clothing and ornaments. She prepared gifts and put them on the bullock cart, and all the mothers were there. And when Rohini set out for Mathura, they followed her for a long distance. And all were weeping, all were crying. Then they, with heavy hearts, they returned to the village. And after some time, Mother Rohini arrived in Mathura. When she arrived in Mathura, a wonderful thing happened. Krishna and Balaram, they're staying there. Everyone is a Mathura Basi. No one understands how they feel about Braja. But now Rohini, who was there for the whole time, all their Braj Lila, though she's the wife of Bosadev Maharaj and she's a Kshatriya, actually she's more like a Gopi. In her heart, she's completely a Brajabasi. So when they saw Rohini, Krishna and Balaram were weeping, and they fell down at her feet and gave pranam. And the moment Krishna and Balaram gave pranam to Rohini, at once they had a spurti of Mother Yashoda in their heart. As if Mother Yashoda were directly present there, and Rohini also had a spurti of Mother Yashoda in the heart. And so they were all together, two boys and their two mothers. This is the inconceivable nature of praying. Because when we meet a person who has love for the person we have love for, then just by meeting them, that person becomes present. I remember in 1996, it was the first day of Kartik. Srila Gurudev was sitting on the Vyasasana and he was beginning the first lecture of the month. And exactly just at that time, his dear, very dear and senior godbrother, Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj, he just arrived. He just arrived from Bengal and he came into the temple room from the back. And when Gurudev and Srila Trivikram Maharaj saw each other, and he came and sat next to him on the Vyasasana, both of them were crying, bowing down to each other with tears in their eyes. And I thought at that time, how wonderful. Just see the sweet relationship of affection between these godbrothers who have served together for so many years. Since they were quite young and now they're very old. So they have a long history of service together. And it struck me, how deep was their love for each other. At that time, I felt like that. Now, 21 years later, I see it in a different way. That when they saw each other and bowed down, they both had a spurti of Srila Bhakti Pragya and Keshav Goswami Maharaj. And that's why they were weeping. Why? Because who is the devotee of the object of love is a vibhav. The devotees of Krishna, they are the ashraya lamban. So they are vibhav, that is the category of that which stimulates the love for the object of love. So because each of them have so much love for Srila Bhakti Pragya and Keshav Maharaj, seeing each other, then their love for him was intensified. So this is the nature of praying. So when Krishna and Balaram bowed down to Rohini, and Rohini embraced them, Mother Yashoda appeared there in the consciousness of everyone. So beautiful. So after that, Mother Rohini, now she was there, she couldn't stop speaking about Braja. But Vasudeva and Devaki, they didn't want to hear about it. They were indifferent. They didn't want to hear about what's going on in Braj, what happened there. And the boys also, they should not think about that. That was just because of some politics. Now that's over. So they were indifferent. And the other ladies, noticing that it was an awkward situation between Rohini speaking so lovingly about Krishna and Balarama in Vrindavan, and Vasudeva and Devaki not really approving of that. So then they just tried to pacify the situation a little bit by making a joke. Oh Rohini, you're just always talking about Braj because you're so greedy for the butter and the yogurt there. So then Rohini, then she began to keep her feelings to herself. So now the mother is here, Vasudev can manage the Upanayan Sanskar, receiving sacred thread for his sons. And he told Krishna and Balarama, and when Krishna heard this, he was feeling very sad. Why? Because his mamata, his possessiveness. My father is Nanda Maharaj. My father should organize my Upanayan Sanskar, and now I'm here, and this person is very loving to Krishna. But Krishna in his heart, he has mamata for Nanda Maharaj as his father. And now he's organizing. If my father will hear about my Upanayan Sanskar, he'll be very sad. So Krishna was thinking of a way how he could soften the pain of that experience for Nanda and Yashoda. So then Sri Krishna wrote a letter and said to his father, he said, "Oh Pitasri, my dear father, now in Mathura, I have this situation where I have to undergo this Upanayan Sanskar according to Kshatriya Vidhi, the rules of the royal family. But you should know in my heart that I never accept this. I'm only externally going through this ritual, but in my heart I am Gopal. Gopal is Gopal, he'll always be Gopal. He'll never be a Kshatriya. We don't accept it." Is that correct? Correct. He said, "I never accept. I'm outwardly just playing along with this just to satisfy the Yadus. But in my heart, I am a Gopal, I am a coward boy, and you are my father. So just to make it that this ceremony is not useless, on exactly the same time, on exactly the same day, you should do the Upanayan Sanskar in Braja for my coward boyfriends who are eligible for that. Because we are one in heart, they are just like me." So when you, on that day, when the Gargacharya makes me say my vows, Om Kama Karu, will you do your duty? And the Brahmacharis will say, Om Baram. So when I reply, Om Baram, in the affirmative, to take the vows of the Upanayan Sanskar, at exactly the same time, myself, in the form of my friends with whom I am one, who are so close to me, in Braja, they will tell, Om Baram, and then my words will not be untrue. So Krishna very cleverly told his father to arrange the ceremony in this way, so it would not give pain to him that he was becoming a Kshatriya, and that Krishna now staying there had not become indifferent to the Brijabasis. Because out of humility, when separation comes, humility rises. And when that humility comes, one feels oneself to be unqualified to be a father or to be a friend or to be a lover, depending on what is the relationship with Krishna. Or perhaps Krishna became indifferent to us now. But Nanda Maharaj now he realized Krishna is not indifferent to us at all. So he told his elder brother Upananda and Abhinanda, and amongst them on the same day they did Upanayan ceremony for Krishna's cowherd boyfriends in Braja. So then, after Krishna had received the ceremony, when you receive the sacred thread and the Brahma Gayatri, that means you are now eligible to begin the study of the Vedas. So you have to go to Gurukula. So Krishna and Balaram were thinking, where shall we go to Gurukula? And what teacher shall we approach? to take shelter. So they thought, who's qualified? Well, Narad is qualified, Vyasadeva is qualified, but we can't go to them because they're Vaishnavas. And Vaishnavas, they know Krishna's tu Bhagavan Swayam, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then how will they be able to go through the pastime of educating us, because they know that we already know everything better than they do. So that's not going to work. So Krishna and Balaram, they were talking to each other, and they decided the best thing to do is to go to a Shivite guru. Because Shivites, they don't know Krishna Tattva, Balaram Tattva. So they thought, there's one, it should be a Shivite who has realized Brahman. By the mercy of Lord Shiva, he's realized Brahman. So they knew there's one Shivite from Kashi, from a very famous line of Brahmins in Kashi. And for some time he went and he lived in Prabhasketra. And then after that he came to Ujjain, Avantipur. And he's established a Gurukula there with hundreds of Brahmin boys. And he's teaching them, let's go to his ashram. So Krishna and Balaram, they decided, they selected him. He'll be our guru and this will be our Gurukula. Then they were thinking that if the demons, the associates and the allies of Kamsa Maharaj know that we have both left Mathura, then they may attack and make problems for the Yadavas, thinking that the Yadu dynasty are weak at that time. So we should go to Gurukula in such a way that no one knows that we've gone to Gurukula. So Krishna and Balaram publicly announced, as princes of the Yadu dynasty, that now for some months we'll be undergoing severe austerities, brats and study in the privacy of our rooms in our palace. We are not to be disturbed by anyone. So they closed the doors and they went inside, and then no one saw Krishna and Balaram for some months. But what really happened? In the middle of the night, secretly, Krishna and Balaram, with shaved heads, carrying dandas of kadir wood, with rings made of kush grass, with upper and lower silk cloth and a deerskin over the top of that, dressed as brahmacharis, they set off from Mathura secretly, incognito, and they began to walk 600 kilometers all the way to Ujjain, to Avantipur. So they were incognito. No one knew who they were. And they were walking for miles and miles, because brahmacharis are not allowed to use a vehicle. Did you know that? So now they were brahmacharis, they couldn't go by a chariot until they graduate from their Gurukul. After that they could use a chariot, but before it was not possible. So they had to walk all the way. And they were walking through so many villages. So especially when Krishna and Balaram walked through the cowherd villages, then at that time they were reminded of Vrindavan, and their hair stood on end, and they were wishing, oh, I wish we could go back to the good old days when we were cowherd boys. And sometimes they were walking through the villages, and the young girls of the villages would see them. How beautiful was Krishna and Balaram. And some girls would talk to each other. Oh, look at that brahmachari. Definitely, in the future, some young woman is going to be very, very fortunate. Whoever marries this brahmachari, she'll be very fortunate. She'll be very fortunate to embrace him in her lap. She'll feel the most fortunate when he decorates her body, paints her body with the sandalwood paste. And like this, they were thinking in this way upon seeing the beauty of Krishna, and Krishna was covering his ears. Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. So I can't listen to this because I'm a brahmachari now. In Vrindavan, it was okay to listen. Over here, what the gopis are saying. But now he's saying, now I have to be a brahmachari. I shouldn't listen. So somehow or other, Krishna managed to control himself, and he arrived in Avantipur. When he came to Avantipur, Sandipani Muni, was sitting there on the asana with hundreds of effulgent young Brahmin boys, all studying under his guidance. And Krishna and Balaram came into that assembly, but their effulgence was outshining the effulgence of the other students. All the students were astonished seeing Krishna and Balaram, but they didn't stand up and they didn't give obeisances. Why? We are Brahmins. And they could see from the physique, oh, they're not Brahmins. Very strong. They must be Kshatriyas. So they didn't get up. But in their heart, they were very respectful, but they didn't give pranam because they're caste pride as being Brahmins. So when Krishna and Balaram, they folded their hands and gave dandavat pranams to Sandipani Muni. And they said, "O great Brahman, you are ocean of transcendental knowledge. We surrender to you. Kindly save us and remove our ignorance and deliver us from the ocean of birth and death." This is how one approaches the spiritual master. So when Sandipani Muni saw them, then he asked them, "Oh, what is your Varna and your Gotra?" So Krishna and Balaram, they wanted to stay anonymous, so they didn't say, "I'm Krishna and Balaram." They said, "We are of the Yadu dynasty. And my Varna also means color. And Balaram is fair and Krishna is dark." So they became known as the fair Yadav and the dark Yadav in the Gurukula. Fair Yadav and dark Yadav. Sandipani Muni said, "Oh boys, the time for study is precious and very rare." You can think in your life, when you're young and you're a student, and you go to college, that time you're absorbed in your study day and night, you can absorb so much. But then after that, when you go into the practical dealings of life, then how much time do you have for study? Not so much. In most cases, not so much. So we should know that when we have the chance to be with Vaishnavas and just be absorbed and deeply study Shastra, this is most rare and precious moments. We must take advantage of that. So he said, "My boys, the time for study is very rare and precious. Therefore I am going to keep you here with me for a long time." And in this way, very lovingly, they were accepted into the Gurukula. Sandipani Muni said, "You will have to give up your awareness, your ego of being Kshatriyas, and you'll have to go to beg with the other boys." So in Gurukula, the students, they have to go to beg door to door. So Krishna and Balaram, they were sent out with the other Brahmin boys. And the Brahmin boys would come and knock on doors. "Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi," or "Respectable lady, please give me alms." And they would ask for something. They would sometimes receive, sometimes not. But when Krishna and Balaram went begging, they were astonished. Because Krishna and Balaram, as soon as anyone saw them, without them even saying everything, "Oh, take this," everyone was just giving. So they would come back and they would offer so many things they had begged to their Gurudev, and it would be distributed in the ashram for the benefit of all the students. So this was going on. Their Gurukul life was going on. One day, the wife of Sandipani Muni, she said, "Out of all your students, my dear Swami and dearest husband, out of all your students, which of the students are the most devoted?" Sandipani Muni said, "Those two Kshatriya boys." His wife said, "But I never see them serve you." He said, "Yes, because it is their nature that they do service, but not openly, not publicly. They serve me so much, but they do it very secretly and in such a way that no one sees what they're doing. And that's why you have not seen." So we see the example set by Krishna and Balaram in serving their Gurudev, it was not for show. It was not to get the approval and praise of other people. But behind the scenes, they relished serving and pleasing their Gurudev without anyone knowing. Unconditional, unmotivated, niskapat niswartha Guru Seva, without duplicity and without selfishness. They served their spiritual master. One day, the Guru Mata, she asked Krsna and Balaram, can you bring wood from the forest? So Krsna and Balaram set out into the forest and they were collecting wood. And then suddenly the sky became black and there was heavy rain. There was a heavy downpour. And it became so dark they couldn't see. It was flooded on all sides and they couldn't return to the ashram. The next morning when Sandipani Muni found out that they were lost in the forest in the dark and the rain, he became so upset, he didn't take bath, he didn't do his Gayatri mantra or anything. He just got up and he set out with the other students, searching here and there. Oh, dark Yadav, light Yadav, where are you? They spread out in the forest and the boys found them first. So when the boys found Krsna and Balaram, then Krsna and Balaram were laughing and joking with them and telling them how they'd spent the night alone in the forest, holding hands, shivering, waiting for the morning to come. But then when their Gurudev arrived, Sandipani Muni, then they became very shy. They became quiet. Sandipani Muni said, oh, for my service, you have sacrificed your own comfort. So I bless you that all transcendental knowledge will appear in your heart and remain ever fresh. This he did not say, that was a hardik dan. You know, mercy comes in different ways. It can be by words, vachik dan, alok dan, by glancing, or it can be by a heartly blessing. So in his heart, he gave this blessing to Krsna and Balaram. So he embraced them and brought them back to the ashram. So, Krsna and Balaram are staying in Gurukul. They're sleeping on the ground at night. But at night when Krsna and Balaram went to sleep, they could not sleep. Krishna said to Balaram, oh Balaram, it's very difficult. I'm trying to not remember our life in Braj, because when I remember that, I feel so much pain. I try to remember my friends, new friends in Mathura, my new mother and father in Mathura. Jai Sisi Radha Govinda Jyoti. I try to remember my new mother and father in Mathura. But even when I just think of the word mother, then at once I remember Yashoda. When I think of the word father, at once I remember Nanda Maharaj. And I see how he's become so weak now in separation from me. Even his friends don't embrace him because his body is so hot. They think that it would be like entering into a fire. What, Balaram, what can I do? Balaram said, oh brother, it's true. Actually, I feel so restless. I want to just get up and run away from Gurukul and go back to Braja. But we'll have to hold our patience. But one thing I've experienced, that when I remember Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, then at that time, as if like a dream, I see them, I speak to them, they speak to me. And it's more than a dream even. Krishna said, you're right. I also have that experience. When I remember them, it's like a dream, but it seems to be real. And when Krsna and Balaram revealed their heart to each other, how they were remembering their parents and friends and cows in Braja, they were weeping and Krsna and Balaram embraced each other. And Krsna and Balaram fell asleep in each other's embrace. So gradually they were sleeping and in the night they rolled apart and Krishna was lying there. But then in his dream, Krishna saw that he was on the bank of Jamuna. It was night time. He was playing his flute. And Srimati Radhika, Lalita, Vishaka, Chitta Champakalata, and all Braj Gopis who are his life and soul. They are the life of his life and soul. They'd all come there. And Krishna was dancing with the Braja Gopis. Tatrati sushubetabi Bhagavan Devaki Sutha Madhyamani Mahimana Mahamarakato Yata. Shukadeva Goswami said, when Krishna is dancing, there's Krishna and the golden gopi. Bluish Krishna and golden gopi. Bluish Krishna, golden gopi, dancing in a circle. At that time, Tatrati sushube. He becomes excessively beautiful. More than ever before. He never looked so beautiful, because Krishna, though he's beautiful, but he's more beautiful in the company of those devotees who have the highest love for him. So Madhyamanina Mahimanam Mahamarakato Yata. He was like a Marakata jewel set in gold. So Marakata jewel is actually emerald. We know that Krishna is bluish like a sapphire, but Shukadeva Goswami said he was like an emerald set in gold. Why is that? Because when the golden aura of the Braj Gopis, when Krishna's sham colored complexion is bathed in the golden aura of the Braj Gopis, he seems to be green like an emerald. In Braj Bhasha there's a famous poem. Mera bhava padaharo Radha nagar soy Jatan ki chai pare Sham harita duti hoy. Oh Srimati Radhika, I am begging you, please remove the obstacles to my bhajan in this material world. You are so beautiful and so powerful that when your aura falls upon Shama Sundar, then Sham becomes Harita Duti. He becomes green in complexion. So, though Krishna is so beautiful, even the ornaments that he wears, they don't beautify him. He beautifies the ornaments. But when Krishna is in the company of the Braj Gopis, then the Gopis beautify Krishna, make him more beautiful. Krishna in his dream was so happy, he was dancing in Rasalila. Padanyasa Bhuja Vidutibi Sasmita Bruvilasai Madhyan Vajjais Chalakutapatai Kundala Gandalola Swidhyan Mukya Kabara Rasana Grantaya Krishna Vadvo Gayantastham Tarita Idvata Mega Chakre Virejahu. Shukadeva Goswami paints a beautiful picture of Rasalila. Gopis are doing padanyas. That means in their classical style of dance, they place their feet in different positions, in different rhythms. Padanyasa, bhuja vidutibe. Their arms are moving very quickly, striking one pose, one mudra after another. Sasmita, they're smiling. Bru vilasa, and their eyebrows are also dancing. There are different movements in Bharatanatyam that the eyebrows also have to dance. Vadyan madhyais chalakutapati. Their waists were trembling. Their hips are moving. And they'd taken their upper cloths. And they were very colorful, and they were swinging them around. So when they were spinning, their different colored cloths were spinning also. Sudhyanmukya kabarasana. Their faces were decorated with drops of perspiration. And they tied the knots, kabara, grantaya krishnavado. When their cloth was coming loose, then they tightened it again. Krishnavado gayantastam tarita ivata mega chakre vireju. And they were singing Krishna's names, Krishna, Krishna. And they appeared like flashes of lightning on a dark cloud. The implication here is, Shukadeva Goswami is describing the movement of each part of their bodies. Why? Because that was their style of dancing. That their feet moved while the rest of the body was completely still. Then the feet became still and the eyebrows danced. And the eyebrows became still, then the arms moved. And then the arms stopped and then the hips moved. So they isolate each part of the body in quick rotation. So the dancing looks so beautiful and supernatural. This is what Shukadeva Goswami is expressing here. And also that they became like flashes of lightning on a dark cloud when they were chanting Krishna, Krishna. This is expressing the glories of the holy name, because there's a sequence here. The ornaments of Krishna don't make Krishna beautiful. Krishna makes his ornaments more beautiful. The gopis make Krishna more beautiful, and the holy name makes the gopis more beautiful. So here in Rasalila, Shukadeva Goswami is expressing the glories of Harinam Sankirtan. Even the gopis who make Krishna more beautiful, Krishna is already impossibly beautiful by Yoga Maya. The power to make the impossible possible. Krishna is so beautiful, it's impossible to be that beautiful. But he becomes more beautiful in the company of the gopis. But the gopis become more beautiful when they do Harinam Sankirtan. So Krishna was experiencing all of this. Tabi yuta sramamapo itamanga sangha Grishtastorja sokucha kumkuma ranjitaya Gandhavapali beanudat avisadva Santo gajiba ivaradi babinna setu. After dancing with the Braj Gopis, then Sri Krishna, wearing a garland that was crushed by embracing them and fragrant with the kumkum from the breasts of the gopis, was smeared upon his garland. Along with those beautiful cowherd maidens, he came to the bank of Jamuna and they entered into the water, followed by swarms of intoxicated bumblebees who were singing their glories. And entering into the cool water of Jamuna, all Braj Gopis became relieved from the fatigue of their very enthusiastic and energetic dancing. So Krishna was experiencing all of this, but then suddenly he woke up and saw that he had a shaved head and was doing austerity, sleeping on the floor of the ashram in the Gurukula in Ujjain. Krishna was so disappointed and thrown into the ocean of separation. He thought, what kind of dream was that? And he let out a long sigh. And when he breathed in, he could smell the kumkum from the bodies of Braj Gopis. And he realized, it wasn't a dream. His body was actually fragrant with the fragrance of their kumkum. And then he thought, it wasn't a dream. It was real. And now, alas, alas, my brahmacharya is broken. And then Krishna calmed himself, he settled himself down. He said, well, I didn't do it intentionally, so it doesn't count. It wasn't my intention. And anyway, the gopis of Vrindavan, who were dying in separation, now they can live for another day. Because he realized that that dream was not a dream, it was real. And those pastimes that he experienced with the gopis, there in Vrindavan, in Spurti, in separation, the gopis were also experiencing it at the same time. That is called the Gona Vishesh Sambhog. It's a special type of meeting, a secondary type of meeting, not a mukhya primary, but a secondary type of meeting, which is not just a meeting in a dream, but when two persons have the same dream and experience it together, this is called Gona Vishesh Sambhog. So Krishna pacified himself and said, well, it wasn't intentional, so I didn't break my vow. But more importantly than that, the gopis of Vrindavan, their life has been saved. So this is Sri Krishna's life in Gurukula. So when he was there in Gurukula, many years later, he met another boy, a Brahmin boy who was in that Gurukula, whose name was Sudama Brahmin. And he was reminiscing with him, oh, do you remember our days living in the ashram of Sandipani Muni? So at that time, Krishna said, Naham idja prajati byam tapaso pasamena va tusseyang sarvabhutatma guru susrusrayayata. Krishna speaking his own realization and experience. He said, I am the Atma of all living beings, Sarvabhutatma. I am the soul of all living entities. And I am not so much satisfied by Naham Ijja. General meaning, Ijja means worship. Prajatibhyam means birth in a high family. Naham Ijja Prajatibhyam Tapasa Upasamenama, by the performance of austerities or upasana. Service in meditation. I am not so pleased by all of these things as I am pleased Guru Susrusrayayata, by that person who listens to the words of his spiritual master and serves his spiritual master with great faith. So this verse is very, very deep. Sridhar Swami, the original commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, he said this verse can be understood on two levels, because there are two types of guru. The guru who is Brahmanishta and Bhagavat Nishta. The guru who is Brahmanishta, he is that one who wants to bring one to the level of Brahman realization. And Bhagavat Nishta, that is the guru who is established in bhakti. So if we take it from the first perspective, if the guru is Brahmanishta, then Ijja means the performance of sacrifice, which is the duty of the householders, grihastha. Prajatibhya means if one takes birth in a Brahmin family, then he'll receive the Upanayan Sanskar into Brahma Gayatri, and then he'll study the Vedas as a brahmachari. So then tapasa, austerity, means when a person's household life is complete, then he may, along with the wife, give up all social engagements and retire to the holy dham and do austerities, vanaprastha life. Then upasamenava is the internal meditation and service, which is upasana, for them in this case actually Brahma upasana, done by sannyasis, according to this analysis. So here the meaning is, I am not so pleased by performing the duties of brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha or sannyas as I am pleased by one who listens and serves his guru who is Brahmanishta. Then the other meaning, which is more relevant to us, is if the guru is Bhagavad Nishta, fixed in devotion to God, then Ijja means worship to the deity, the archant to the deity. Then Prajatibhya means receiving the Diksha mantra, Gopa mantra, and remembering that faithfully 3 times a day. Then Tapasa means actually to focus the mind and go into meditation, samadhi. And then Upasamena means the Krishna Nishta, that the consciousness is always fixed in Krishna and one is internally serving. So Krishna is saying, I am not so pleased by serving the deity, receiving initiation and remembering your Diksha mantras, even by going into trance samadhi and serving me internally. I am not so pleased by that person as much as I am pleased by that person who listens to the words of his guru and serves him with great faith accordingly. This is astonishing. How pleased Krishna is by Guru Seva above any type of service, even advanced service to him in the state of samadhi. So Srila Sridhar Swami, he says that from this verse it is to be understood that Guru Seva is completely swatantra, it's completely independent. And therefore it is capable of bestowing all siddhi even without the support of any other discipline or any other practice or any other anga of bhakti. That is the glory of Guru Seva, from the lips of Krishna himself, remembering his own time in the Gurukula. Srila Gurudeva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions? Yes, Advaita Prabhu.
According to the etiquette, in order to respect the Vaishnava properly, we need to offer respect according to Vaishnava's level. So that discrimination is important. But what if that Vaishnava is our spiritual master? Shall we have an absolute view of him or a relative view of him?
No. The disciples should have absolute vision towards the spiritual master. We said today, one of the first verses we were discussing, Yasya Sakshat Bhagavati, Jnana Deepa Prategaro, the Guru who gives transcendental knowledge, he should be seen as direct manifestation of Bhagavan. So, in this regard, I want to give some examples from the life of our Gurudev, how he discussed these things. Once, Srila Gurudev was giving a darshan after his morning walk in Los Angeles. And Shamarani Didi was there. She wanted to ask a question. She said, so the spiritual master must be a Mahabhaga. Gurudev stopped her immediately, said, that is absurd. He said, when you come to devotional life, you are Kanishta Adhikari. How will you know? Even for a Madhyam Adhikari, they cannot always identify who is a Mahabhagavat. It's very difficult. So how will you know? He said, and such gurus are extremely rare. Generally, guru will be Madhyam Adhikari. Gurudev himself, he said, because we don't accept it, but Gurudev in his humility, he said, I may be Madhyam Adhikari Guru. Gurudev said, in his humility. But generally, Guru is in the Madhyam Adhikari, that is from Ruchi up to Bhav. Ruchi, that is not Madhyam Adhikari, that is Madhyam Bhagavat. There's a difference. Kanishta Adhikari is from Shraddha up to the end of Anatha Nivritti. It's Kanishta Adhikari. Madhyam Adhikari is Nistha, and Uttam Adhikari is from Ruchi. Because here the concept of Adhikari means 3 levels of eligibility to practice Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. That's the context in which you find that discussion in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So there's the 3 types of Adhikari. Then you have 3 types of Bhagavats. The Prakrita Bhakta, that is from the Shraddha up to Nishtha. Then the Madhyam Bhagavat, from Ruchi up to and including Bhav, is Madhyam Bhagavat. And Uttam Bhagavat is from Prem, everything after that. So you can see this distinction is made in Bhakti Tattva Vivek by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Because actually these are analysis of eligibility according to 2 different schools. Because the one is related to Vaidhi Bhakti, that is the analysis of Adhikari in the Pancharatriki line. Because it's Vaidhi Bhakti. And so they're called Uttam, Madhyam and Kanishta Adhikari for Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. It's Pancharatriki line. And then in the Bhagavat line, so they're called Madhyam Bhagavat, Uttam Bhagavat. Because that's the Bhagavat school. So Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur said, the Uttam Adhikari is practically a Kanishta Bhagavat. In the Bhagavat school, the Pancharatrik Uttam is practically like a Kanishta, but a high level of Kanishta in the Bhagavat school. So these are different approaches to Bhakti, the Pancharatrik line and the Bhagavat line. Now, so then Srila Gurudev said, oh, it is absurd, you cannot know. And then she asked, what if that person is not an Uttam Bhagavat, then how you become perfect? So then Srila Gurudev quoted a verse of Bhagavad Gita. He said, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has mentioned that those who worship the demigods actually are worshipping me, but not according to the correct vidhi. But whatever benedictions those demigods give to their followers are actually bestowed by me alone. So he said, in the same way, if the disciple's guru is a Madhyam Bhagavat, he's qualified to be guru. But whatever mercy is coming to that disciple is coming from Krishna. And if there's anything lacking in him, then Krishna will make up for that. So you can see it was transcribed and it's been sent out also on the Harikatha mailing list, that morning darshan with Gurudev. So that's another thing. So then, once in Baja on the morning walk, I asked Gurudev, obviously we know, if a Vaishnava comes from the spiritual world here, his body is Satchidananda. But if a Vaishnava is a sadhak going up here, is his body Satchidananda or is it spiritualized? In other words, the vrittis of the gunas have gone away and it's acting in the same way like Satchidananda. Just like iron is not fire, but put in fire, it takes on the quality of fire. This is my question at that point. If the guru is a sadhak going up, should the disciple see his body is Satchidananda or that is spiritualized? So Gurudev said, because actually, once the vritti of Swarup Shakti comes, there's no difference. Because the bhav which appears is Nityasiddha bhav. So even the devotee is not Nityasiddha, but his bhav is Nityasiddha. Because all bhav is Nityasiddha. Understand? So when I posed this question to Srila Gurudev, he said, even if Guru is a Madhyamadikari, the disciple should see that his Guru's body is Satchidananda, his cloth is Satchidananda, his shoes and his toothbrush, everything, all his praf, everything is Satchidananda. The disciple should see like that. So we have given some praman from Bhagavatam, Yasya Sakshat Bhagavati, and we've given some pranam from Guru and Sadhu, directly from Srila Gurudev's lips, in regard to this question. Dhananjay Prabhu.
So, did Krishna and Balaram, when they went to Mathura, is that when they discovered they were brothers, or did they think they were brothers before?
According to the conception of the Mathura Basis, they're brothers because they have the same father. But according to the conception of the Brij Basis, they're not biologically brothers, because they have neither the same father or the same mother. But when Krishna and Balaram, they were bidding farewell to Nanda Maharaj in Mathura and telling him that he should return to Braj without them, then at that time, because Balaram actually was not the, as you would think in a human terms, biological son of Nanda Maharaj, he said to Nanda Maharaj, "Oh Baba, that person is your father who raises you, who nourishes you and takes care of you for your whole life. That is your father." That's the main consideration. So Balaram was expressing that he really saw Nanda Maharaj as his father. That was his relation, that was his emotional relationship. He didn't have that relationship, he didn't even know Vasudev Maharaj. So in terms of his bhav, for Balaram, Nanda Maharaj is his father, and he has two mothers, Choti Maya and Bari Maya. The big mother and the small mother. So the big mother is Rohini and the smaller mother is Yashoda. And Krishna also sees Rohini and Yashoda, they're both his mothers. So that's the sentiment, the bhav with which they relate to each other. And even when they're in Mathura, then Krishna, it's not that Krishna discovered that he's brothers with Balaram, because as he wrote to his father, he said, "I never accepted I'm a Kshatriya. I'm a Gopal, I'll always be a Gopal, I'm just playing along with them." So Krishna maintains his abhiman that he is Nandanandan. Yes, Prabhu.
In the book I have one question, but I also have one question. They might mix together, so I'll just ask it in a broader. So on a morning walk, also in Houston, Gurudev said the same thing. When the devotee asked, how should we see Guru according to, if he's Mahabhagat, if he's, he said, every disciple, no, Nityasiddha or Sanasiddha.
Right,
He
yes,
said,
yes.
even if he's not, you should see he's Nityasiddha. The disciple should see his Guru like that.
Yes.
This was morning walk in Houston in 2008, maybe.
Yes, thank you.
But then another thing was the verse Sastri Yuki Suni Purna Judashara Yandra.
Yeah.
It says in the second line of that verse that that person may also Tare Samsar, he also can deliver those persons who come under his shelter. So this is because his Drita Shraddha is not only in Bhagavan, his Guru, but in Sadhu. Is that correct?
No, because you mixed up a few verses here. Because there's Shastra Yukti Su Nipun, Drida Shadadya, Say Uttam Adhikari, Jagata Nistha. But for Madhyam, it's Shastra Yukti Nahi Jani, Shastra Yukti Nahi Jani, Drida Sradavan, Say Madhyam Adhikari Mahabhagyavan. But we can say here, because this is a discussion of Uttam Adhikari, right? So that Uttam Adhikari in the Pancharatriki Marg is actually the beginning stage of Madhyam Bhagavat. So therefore, yes, the Madhyam Bhagavat can deliver the world. So your conclusion is right, but not on the basis of that verse. Because you said Shastra Yukti Sunipun, Dridashada Yar, it's Shastra Yukti Sunipun, Shastra Yukti Sunipun, sorry, Shastra Yukti Nahi Jani. The Madhyam Adhikari, it says is Mahabhagyavan. The Madhyam Adhikari is Mahabhagyavan. It doesn't say he can deliver the world. It says the Uttam can deliver the world.
Uttam and eligibility for the practice of bhakti.
Yes. So that Uttam in the Vaidhi Marg is, he's really in the stage of Ruchi. So that means in the Bhagavat Marg, who's in the stage of Ruchi, the Madhyam Bhagavat, yes, he can deliver the world. Yes.
So in that verse,
correct.
It says Shastra Yukti Suni Punya Drida Sharna Yana, that's Uttama in eligibility.
Yes.
The second part of the verse says Samsare Taraye Samsar. That he can, that Uttam in eligibility,
yes,
the fact like he can also deliver. So I'm asking about
absolutely
the caveat of can, meaning if his Drida Shraddha
yes,
is in Guru, Sadhu, and Bhagavan equally, there's no obfuscation of Guru Abhiman.
Yes.
We had a whole discussion one time.
It's his Shraddha is especially in Shastra, Shastriya Shraddha. Yes. So Shastriya speaks of Guru Tattva, so automatically also he has faith in Guru. Yes.
Because the Indipati discussion was about Prabhupada's purport in the 5th shlok of Upadeshamrita.
Take shelter of Uttamadhikari.
Yes, yes.
Uttamadhikari is Madhyam Bhagavat.
Right. And then coming down, like in the case, Gurudev has also described once, that Madhyamadhikar in Uttam Madhyam would mean like Vyadut Kashai, coming down from Bhagavat Prasad Dehaprap, he will come down to a level to make distinction. But he's coming from that side, coming down, and going up, even at the stage of Ruchi, which is Uttam in, I hope I'm not being confusing, but Uttam in that verse, he can also deliver disciples. We have this whole discussion here.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yes,
So
well, you know, but it's clear in the verse, Vacho Vega Manasa Krodha Vega, it says, Prativim Sasisyat, he can make disciples all over the world. That verse is the description of the Madhyam Bhagavat.
Yes.
It's in the commentaries, it all says, this is the qualification.
Not Mahabhagavat necessarily, Nityasira Parikar, it's not, yeah.
But even you can see, let's say there's a Uttam Adhikari in Pancharatriki Marg. He's qualified for the Angas of Bhakti. So one of the 64 Angas of Bhakti is, don't make many disciples, you see. So that's part of his sadhana. To have disciples and to train them is one of the Angas of Bhakti for that Uttam Adhikari in the Pancharatriki Marg. You understand? But he shouldn't have many because he's not so powerful that he can digest so much karma, and not so powerful that just by his meditations he can support and nourish everyone who he just met them, you know, because a great person like Narad can wander here and there, just give initiation on the spot to someone and then maintain them from a distance, all of these things. So that type of guru, he should spend time with the disciples and train them. So if he has a lot, then he won't be able to discharge the responsibilities properly. That means then the disciples will not be satisfied and the guru will not be able to do that sadhana of training the disciples, which is one of the angas of bhakti. So there it said, one of the angas of bhakti, that don't take many. It should be a manageable number and it should be done nicely, and that will contribute to the growth of the disciples and the guru also. Who is Uttam Adhikari.
Yes, train them.
Train them, yes.
That's many people giving out beads and threads without training anybody.
Then the question comes, if you're making a distinction between kinds of guru, you said that kind of guru.
Yes.
So then how does the disciple think, well, what kind of guru is my guru?
So that was the previous question. Did you hear the previous question and answer?
The topics.
Yeah, the vision of the disciple cannot be relative. Because we have two things going on here. Guru is Vaishnav and also Krishna is appearing. So the Guru may be different levels of Vaishnav, but the Krishna who's appearing is Krishna. Right? So the delegation of Krishna present in that Vaishnava is absolute. Yes. Is that satisfying? Is that clear for everyone?
Yes. But it also means not everyone is Madhyam Adhikar because they're using the verse Prema Maitri Kipu Peksha.
That's Madhyam Bhagavat, not
Madhyam Bhagavat, not exactly.
Not Madhyam Adhikar. That's Madhyam
He has
Bhagavat.
praying. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He has praying.
Yeah. But this prem here, the word prem, the Acharya's comment, just means Shuddha Bhakti.
You know.
So Shuddha Bhakti appears from Ruchi.
Yes.
So prem isn't here
Like,
the
yeah,
stage
prem,
after
yeah,
Bhav.
yeah.
It just means Shuddha Bhakti. So it's from the stage of Ruchi.
Right.
Yes, then-
There was a time in Srila Prabhupada's life and Srila Gurudev's life when they weren't famous, and it didn't seem that most people recognized their power, their stature.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, they're world famous and
Yes.
have thousands of followers. Is there something that happens in their lives, like some milestone that all of a sudden, you know, is there something different that happens that you know, is that, how does that happen?
That's the will of Krishna, that the Acharya becomes self-effulgent. He's already qualified. Or, in some cases, they may become qualified, but at a certain point, the mercy of Gauranitai reveals to the certain Vaishnavas the stature of that devotee. That's why it said in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Du Vairidiya Kshalandaka, Du Bhagavad Sanghikarna Shakshikar. The mercy of Gauranitai is that your heart is illuminating, allowing you to recognize the special position of the book Bhagavat and the devotee Bhagavat. So when certain devotees, they have that mercy of Gauranitai and they recognize the book Bhagavat and the person Bhagavat, and then they also, those who are not qualified to recognize, they may encourage them. The Madhyama Adhikaris are bringing the Konishta Adhikaris also to learn from them. So this is all Krishna's will, that different acharyas become powerful at different times in history. One thing I want to say, which is very important. The first anga of bhakti is called Guru Pad Ashray. The first anga of bhakti is not initiation. That's the second anga of bhakti. So Srila Gurudev in his commentary on Madhurya Kadambini gives a most wonderful explanation of Guru Pad Ashray and its necessity. He said, at that time, the disciple takes shelter of his prospective Guru. So the prospective disciple does Guru Pad Ashray take shelter of the prospective Guru. It's a provisional relationship. It's not fixed yet. And he should hear and he should serve for a minimum period of 1 year. That is given in Haribhakti. Now consider this. In the ideal situation, he'll live with the Guru. So he'll see him every day for 365 days and serve him. So nowadays, if a Gurus are traveling and they're meeting someone for 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, once a year, that year is not really a year. Right? According to the ideal situation in Shastra. Of course, there's possibility now to see the live streams and everything. Pranams to all the Vaishnavas watching at home. Except for the ones who are here in Alachua who didn't come. No, I didn't mean that. Please come tomorrow. It's not very far away. Give me your darshan so I can be purified by your Vaishnav darshan. So, the idea is that the disciple and Guru should spend time together with each other. So the Guru can understand the swabhav of the disciple, and the disciple can understand to his limited ability the nature of the Guru, to see how they're compatible. And during that time of service, Srila Gurudev describes that as the devotee is serving, he begins to realize how the delegation of the Supreme Lord is present in this Vaishnava, because he's answering the questions even before the questions are asked. And so by various experiences or interaction with that Vaishnava, his faith is getting stronger and stronger. And then when his faith that the Guru Tattva is present in that Vaishnava is strong, now his heart is a fertile soil to receive initiation. So Srila Gurudev said that the initiation, it's not a ritual or formality or something external or everyone's doing it so let's do it. No, but the initiation is actually the fruit of Guru Pada Ashray. So one has to go through that stage first, and when that stage is mature, the fruit of Guru Pada Ashray, namely the strong faith that comes from the realizations which have been accrued through serving and hearing, bring one to that state where the next anger of bhakti, which is diksha, can take place. So, though Srila Gurudev, being a great Mahabhagavat like Narad, would sometimes just give initiation quite quickly to persons, yet he's written in his own books the standard that he wants among his followers. So it's not our duty to imitate him, it's our duty to follow his instruction and his conception. Agreed? So, also we saw that during Gurudev's later years, that he would not personally screen the devotees who were coming for initiation, but he would give that responsibility to his seniors. They would check who's qualified and unqualified, and then bring them to him. So Gurudev outwardly, from a relative perspective, was depending on the judgment of his senior devotees to bring qualified persons, and unqualified persons would, they'll wait and develop their faith. Because actually, Yasyopadesha Shivanama Paradaha, in the 10 offenses to the holy name, actually means to give initiation to a person whose faith is not properly developed. That's an offense to the holy name. So, just last year, at the time of Srila Gurudev's, the installation of Srila Gurudev's Vigraha in his Pushpa Samadhi in Govardhan, I was with our Pujapad Bhaktivedanta Bhagat Maharaj, and we went into the room of Param Pujapad Srila Bhaktivigyan Bharati Maharaj. At that time there was a little controversy going on, because the senior devotees around Maharaj, they were basically deciding who was qualified to take Diksha from him. So persons who we didn't really, from external vision, know were taking initiation, and there was talk about someone would take sannyas, and someone was saying, no, this person shouldn't take sannyas because something that happened many years ago, it would reflect poorly on Maharaj. You remember it? Yeah? So at that time, Srila Parampujapad Srila Bhaktivigyan Bharati Maharaj said a very wonderful thing. He said, if a devotee comes to me, and I know him, and I ascertain his adhikar, and then after some time decide to give him initiation, then I take all the karma from that disciple. But if you, the senior devotees, you bring people to me who are unqualified and I initiate them, then you take the karma.
And Gurudev said the same thing to me. He said, if you bring me an unqualified person and that person falls down, it's your responsibility.
Yes.
And at that time, that person who wanted to take sannyas, Bharti Maharaj asked me, he said, I don't know him, but I know you. I know you since you're 25 years old. So I'm asking you, should I give him or I not give him sannyas? I said, no, don't give him. Because I know this will create big disturbance and it will injure your reputation. So don't give him. So he said, okay.
And you would get the karma also.
Yeah, but so he said, but I wasn't thinking for me.
Yes, I
was thinking for him.
Yes.
That what it would do to his reputation if he did that.
Yes.
That was my concern because of my love for him. So I told him, please don't do this. So he said, okay, because you're recommending, I won't give.
So in this way, this morning, just to summarize, we tried to present, firstly, the foundation of Guru Tattva, the philosophical foundation of Guru Tattva expressed by Sri Krishna himself. Then after that, we have discussed the loving relation between Guru and disciple, and the evidence directly from Sri Krishna's mouth about the completely swatantra, independent nature of Guru Seva, that it's not dependent on any other angle of bhakti, and it is competent to give all perfection without even practicing hearing, chanting and remembering. Now to some people that may sound obscene, but that is the fact, that Guru Seva has that independent power. All the scriptures have explained that. Yet still, Srila Gurudev said, one should not take that as an excuse to not do proper sadhana. Because those who would take that as an excuse to not do proper sadhana, also not doing really proper Guru Seva. Actually, So don't take that in the wrong way. And then finally, we discussed about different levels of qualification of Guru in the various lines, Pancharathik and Bhagavad, and also the correct process, how our acharyas and Srila Sanatana Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Srila Gurudev, they suggested the ideal way in which the initiations go on. So there's a summary I'd like to complete there. It's been a long morning. And so we'll sing one kirtan. And please, if you have the opportunity, come for Nagar Sankirtan in the evening. And tomorrow morning at 9:30 we'll begin bhajans and the Sunday program. Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Can you, if it's ready, you can open and we'll sing Yashamati Namu. Sure. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Ji ki Jai. Gurukula Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitril Prasthom Vishnuvare Stora Saraswati Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitril Prasthom Vishnuvare Stora Saraswati Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitril Prasthom Vishnuvare Stora Saraswati Bhakti Baman Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnuvare Stora Saraswati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnuvare Stora Saraswati Bhakti Pragyan Keshu Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Mahabhagavad Vashi Gokshora Swami Maharaj ki jai. Saptam Goswami Siddhanta Srila Bhakti Thakur ki jai. Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Sri Jagannath Swami Maharaj ki jai. Sri Rupanuga Gaudi Varvaga ki jai. जय श्री रूप सनातन पत्र रघुनाथ गोपाल भद्र संग सर्व स्वयं की जय। प्रेम गो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री भज मंडल चित्रमंड गौर मंडल की जय। गुण मंग कर श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। ग्रंथ श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री राधिकानंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समगण भक्त वृंद की जय। मरेश्वर विश्वभानुनंदिनी स्मृति राधा रानी की जय। जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। जय श्री प्रेम प्रभु की जय। तुलसी देव्या प्रिय केशव कृष्ण भक्ति परिदेवी वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। So, if there are devotees who are on the list to speak with me privately or have some question, if it's not very private, others can listen, but if it's more private, you can be alone. So I'll be speaking to devotees, and whomever I can't get around to today will speak after the class tomorrow. Let's see who